Okay, what's up, guys? Today I'm going to criticize the claim life is meaningless unless it has a God given purpose, which essentially boils down to this thing of is life meaningless if God doesn't exist? Well, first of all, we have to discern the difference between meaning and purpose. Does meaning and purpose really mean the same thing? Well, meaning would be the reason behind why we were created, why we were born. If God existed, then we would have a meaning because he literally chose to create us, right? We would have a meaning to be born, but the thing gets tricky when purpose gets introduced. Purpose would be what task are we supposed to accomplish, or how are we supposed to be used to accomplish a certain goal, like how hammers have a purpose of driving in nails, right? But as humans define purpose, if we have a purpose and we have a meaning in life, since we would have a reason for living, okay? Maybe we don't have a reason to be born, but we would have a reason to live if we have a purpose. So, and that reason for living grants us a meaning for life as far as humans are concerned. So, if God didn't exist, yes, life would be meaningless, as in we were born without a reason, but we could still have a logical reason to live, which lies in the question of finding purpose and whether God is necessary to have purpose in life. So, I'm going to build up this idea. Life is meaningless unless it has a self assigned purpose each person assigns to himself. A God given purpose may be sufficient for meaning, but not the meaning that we humans think about. It's a meaning for as in why we were born, not a meaning for why we're living. A self-assigned purpose is necessary for meaning in life because an individualized sense of meaning gives you a unique reason for you to be born and a unique reason to keep living. Well, I'll go into that later. But first of all, let's think of this hypothetical. What if God existed? And if God existed, then life inherently has meaning because he chose to create us instead of not creating us. We were here not by chance, but because he wanted us to be here. That means that we inherently have a reason to be born and perhaps even a reason to be alive. So life can have meaning. That doesn't mean it has a purpose or even a good one. What if God made us in order to kill his mortal enemy, the mosquitoes? What if he really likes the ways chefs at Benihana toss up meat and set fire to oil? Right? So a purpose assigned by someone else removes our autonomy, especially if it's a bad one. Like if you think about the butter robot from Rick and Morty, that's not really a good purpose to have. And it would be horrifying if we have such a mundane purpose assigned to ourselves. So in an absence of a good purpose, we would have to make up one ourselves and assign ourselves a worthy purpose of life to give meaning. But let's go through this counter argument. What if God really has a good purpose assigned for us? What if it's something that if we looked at it and say, yeah, that makes sense. But no purpose would be good if it were assigned to every single human on the planet. A vague purpose like obey the rules or be good to other people under the laws of religion is not only probably common sense, but unfulfilling since most people already do that or try to do that. What point is there in our own unique existence if there exist 7 billion other people with the same assigned purpose? I mean, why couldn't my Uncle Joe just follow religion and follow what God wants? Why does it have to be me? Why do all 7 billion people on the planet have to follow this? What makes me specifically, what gives me the right to have life compared to all these other people who could have been born, all these people who died? What makes me, what gives me this purpose? If we're all just having the same purpose, why am I special? Why was I the one to be born instead of the 8 million other possible versions of me? So maybe God assigns us an individual purpose, right? Because if a vague purpose assigned to everyone just wouldn't be enough to have meaning, because it wouldn't give us a sense of individualism, right? So if God assigns us an individual purpose that is good, something that only we can do, but then that already realms into the territory of assigning ourselves our own purpose, right? Since it's highly individualized. And just think about why God would even try giving us an individual purpose in the first place. It would seem extremely mundane, extremely unimportant. Like, would God really tell Beethoven, yes, I need you to write Moonlight Sonata, right? Would God instill the love of running within Usain Bolt just so he could become the fastest man alive? Does God believe in LeBron's legitimate legacy? No, not really, right? So how does that serve God? If individual purposes exist, God can't assign them because it would go against his all-powerful, all-knowing nature. Why would he meddle with these puny little ideals of humans that don't really have anything on his greater, larger plan, right? So individual purposes are highly likely to exist because otherwise we wouldn't have people who spend their lives on vocation, or something greater than them, like Mozart, J.K. Rowling, the Wright brothers, etc. And we also know that God can't really assign individual purposes, or he's very unlikely to. So does God really need us to do anything for him as well? Another counter argument would be that maybe God needs us as like a mission we have to do for him. But think about it. God is all powerful. He's all knowing. What could we mortals possibly do for him? Right? Absolutely nothing. The only sensible answer is if we served a purpose for him, that is, we would be his entertainment, which is a bit sadistic, right? It would be far-fetched to believe that. So as a theist, I believe that if God existed, our purpose would be to find the meaning of life, right? Maybe God put us on earth to find out the meaning of life and appreciate the universe. Maybe he wanted creatures of free will to arrive at an understanding of the beautiful complexity that is the universe and the life resides within it, a kind of global understanding of what it means to live. That's not really a mission per se, so that's a different contemporary meaning than what people think of when they say purpose. But if you really think about it, any kind of purpose, as in we're tools for God, is just nonsensical when it comes to it, because God doesn't need any tools to do his bidding. My vision of the meaning of God assigned life is to have total peace, to live in total harmony with nature, the universe, and yourself. But then again, that's still a vague, broad purpose everyone on this earth could fulfill. Why was it me that was born and not my Earth 137 version of me, Connor McDouglas, right? So why can't we achieve that purpose and also achieve our own self-assigned meaning? The one thing that makes us different in a sea of people, right? Which brings me to my final point. We need an individual purpose to have meaning in life. God may be sufficient for meaning, as in, if God existed, then we would have a reason to be born because he created us as opposed to not creating us, right? Even if that reason may not be good. So, but we need an individual purpose to have a meaning in life, a reason to keep living. We need that self-assigned purpose. The only thing that can individualize your existence and make it necessary is if you assign yourself a purpose nobody else can fulfill. And as a theist, I believe we have a God-given purpose to help others, be kind to them, find inner peace, but we also have self-assigned purposes. Some things that speaks to us, kind of how J.K. Rowling had her ideas for Harry Potter's, the Wright brothers, their ideas to fly planes. There's something unique to each and every one of us that only we can do, and that's what gives us meaning. That's our purpose. And when we have purpose in life, we have a reason to keep living, and that becomes our meaning. So, in conclusion, if God exists, life is meaningful. That doesn't inherently mean it's purposeful, right? The existence of a purpose as related to humans gives us meaning. Since if we have a reason to live, we consider our life as having meaning, and therefore a self-assigned purpose can give meaning in our lives. God cannot assign individualized purposes because our individualized purposes would be way too mundane to be feasibly considered as being given by God, etc. like the basketball champ LeBron, fastest runner, expert composer. So God can only assign vague general purposes. Not only that, but why does it have to be you, specifically you, to fulfill a God-given purpose if he assigns the same purpose to everyone? Your individual existence is undermined by the absence of an individual purpose, right? So therefore, an individual purpose, which can only be self-assigned, is necessary to have purpose and therefore meaning in life. Thus, life is meaningful even without a God-given purpose, and even meaningless if we don't give ourselves a purpose.